Hello everyone, good day according to your time. Welcome back to Learning Sticky. Hope you guys are doing well. Please, if you are seeing my channel for the very first time, don't forget to subscribe and kindly hit on the notification button. Yes, the thing they shock me. They shock like, God. Now so this INEC people now so now wicked. Which kind God creates now? Why is it that everything about Nigeria should be a struggle? We as the citizens, we struggle for everything more than any other people in the whole world. I have to tell you this, that this is the right time that you give Nigerians their freedom. Nigerians have voted. They came out willingly to vote. These INEC people, where busy, they know they keep to their time. Somebody was asking me earlier today that, why are they behaving like this? I say, if you ask me now, I want me to come ask. Like, if they tell people that they are coming at 10 o'clock, they will come at 1. They will come at 3. People are frustrated. Even the foreign observers, they are frustrated. They are really like, the thing, they irritate them. Why all this? And now the third thing where they say nobody want expect now what happen. Either they'll go meet their self for court or they go cancel this election because the other political opponents, they don't talk, say they cancel the election because the result will be say they see up till now, not be waiting them vote for, not be waiting Nigerians vote for. You know why? They believe say only waiting Nigerians go feed do now so they burn tire. Nigerians, do you think that's all you can do? It's a question. Because there are a lot of things that is not clear. A country where children came out to vote, and the INEC president says that there is no way they can identify those people age. Man, if you don't see small picking, you know, if you see small picking, you don't go know. Like, are you really kidding? Are you playing? This is to say that they are playing with us. You are playing with Nigerians. Now, because it not be your children, Sha. Una children go vote? No. Una children in Nigeria? No. One children, they come waiting until they carry them. One like ambulance. Now, for European, I mean for no, say na ambulance, now they carry person with the emergency. That noise with the year for Nigeria. One where we go, they run, they put heads. They use it for emergency here. Damn it.
Welcome back to Nigeria Decides 2023 here on Arise News. The People's Democratic Party has clarified that it is not calling for a total cancellation of the result of the 2023 general election, but only insisting that INEC collation officers should stop announcing results at the National Collation Center in Abuja, which are yet to be uploaded via BVAS to INEC results viewing website IREV in accordance to the Electoral Act. The party said this at a press conference in Abuja where it explained the decision of its agent to stage a walkout at the National Collation Center in Abuja. The PDP is asking the only results already uploaded in the INEC results viewing portal should be announced at the Collation Center.
Consequent on the above section 64 of the Electoral Act 2022, any result announced by INEC is ultra-virus, illegal, and of no consequence whatsoever unless they are results already transmitted directly from the polling units. So procedurally, INEC cannot continue to announce results that are yet to be transmitted as expressly stated in the relevant sections of the Electoral Act. The integrity of this election has been compromised and vitiated by the admission of INEC officials that there was a technical glitch in the midst of the election which affected the effective functioning of the BVAS machines.
The Labour Party says it has lost confidence in INEC with the results being announced. The Director General of the Labour Party, Balogun Akin-Osutohun, says the party is calling on INEC to suspend further announcement of election results and cancel the entire election process as it does not adhere to the tenets of a free and fair election. He's asking INEC to conduct fresh polls that adhere strictly to what is enshrined in the electoral laws. Labour Party campaign spokesperson Dele Farotimi says rejection of results by the party is not a call to cause havoc, but what the party sees as crucial.
We regret to state that we've lost confidence in the results being collated and being announced. Nigerians have inundated us with calls and protests over INEC's non-compliance with provisions of the electoral guidelines and the obvious manipulations of the election results. We hereby call on INEC to suspend further announcement of the results and follow its own guidelines or completely cancel the entire election and make plans for another election with strict compliance with the stipulated laws and guidelines.
We don't need to incite anybody. Nigerians came out in record numbers, the way they haven't come out since 30 years ago. The last time there was that level of turnout was in 1993. And they are currently engaged in electoral fraud. It is for them to maintain peace on the street. We have only called for calm at this conference. We have not at any point in time sought to exacerbate things. They actually want us to be fighting. And we are not interested in fighting, and we urge Nigerians to be calm.
The Presidential Campaign Council of the All Progressives Congress has accused the main opposition parties, the People's Democratic Party and Labour Party, of seeking to use the court to stop the ongoing collation of results. The campaign, in a statement, Festus Keyamo, stated that the Electoral Act prohibits the court from stopping the conduct of elections in Nigeria. He stated that the aggrieved parties cannot use the court to stop the electoral process, as it is against Section 84 of the Electoral Act, which prohibits the grant of injunctions to stop the holding of elections. Joining us now is Dele Farotimi, a lawyer and human rights advocate. Good morning, Mr. Farotimi, and welcome to Nigeria Decides 2023. All right, so we saw you a few...
Good morning, Ayo.
You're welcome. We saw you just a few seconds ago there, speaking alongside the DG of the Labour Campaign Council, Presidential Campaign Council, speaking about the general assessment of the elections and that INEC should be calling off the INEC chair to call off not just the announcement of the results, but the elections in some parts of the country. He said it is not to incite the public, but just a stance as to the conduct of the election thus far. I'd like you to please speak further on your view.
Good morning, Prof. Good morning, Rufai. You know, we bandy a lot of words around in our country, and they really mean what the originators of those words intended when they were coming together. What happened on the 25th of February cannot by any stretch of the imagination qualify as an election. And I speak to the way INEC systematically stole the right of the Nigerians, and the Prof broke every word that he gave to Nigerians sometime last year. I remember that press conference where he famously touted the prowess of INEC and the sanctity of the election conducted based on beavers. He then went on to tell us all about the high rev, and how we will be able to view our results in real time. But there was something interesting. Every time, I've had to listen to that speech again this morning. There is something very interesting about that speech. He kept referring to the right of citizens to the sanctity of their electoral choices. The word citizen kept resounding. Every time it spoke to citizenship. And I have argued strenuously, not only on your show or your platform, but severally in books. I have said that Nigerians are not citizens. And at every opportunity that the Nigerian state and its agencies have been given to prove that we are indeed citizens, it has never failed to seize the opportunity to demonstrate the fact of our non-citizenship. What happened was that I and my wife voted at 8:43. We expected our results to be uploaded as severally advertised by INEC. But the truth of the matter is, from the beginning of the process earlier in the day until it ended at 1:43 in the morning when the votes at my own polling unit were counted, and they told us there were no network, of course. And yet, we're seeing all sorts of fantastic results. We're seeing violence everywhere. None of the things promised to guarantee the sanctity of this election happened. We saw in broad daylight in places where you have cameras and people can record, people being told clearly that because you are from this ethnic side or divide, you can't vote here. Whether the person might even have wanted to vote their preferred candidate, they were unwilling to even consider that. The fact of your ethnicity simply meant that you could not vote because the state had abandoned those who should be citizens to those to whom it has subcontracted the governance of the state. And you see the police standing right there, not saying a word in protection of those who should be citizens. Let me be clear. I am going to be 55. I've seen a few elections. The closest I've seen to what they are calling election right now was the 1983 election. I will tell you this, and I reiterated as much yesterday at the press conference. We gain nothing by violence. Those who have done this always expected that the aggrieved would either go to court or go on the street, or they will do both. We are not going to the street. We are not going to the street. But we are clear that what emerged yesterday, those who are lawyers who speak Dogon Turenchi and quote all the relevant sections, I'm a retired lawyer and I'm not interested. I have no confidence whatsoever in the capacity of the judiciary to bring about anything called justice out of this mess that was conducted yesterday. My point is very clear. The Nigerian state should simply tell us that we are not citizens. But what happened yesterday is not an election. I'm not going to tell my children that I stood by and I allowed them to label this an election. Even if you pronounce my candidate, Peter Gregory Obi, as the winner of this election, put me on record. It wasn't an election. Some people simply sat down somewhere and marched all over the rights of those they call Nigerian citizens. That's not an election. And the person, whoever comes out of this, will lack legitimacy. Let me be clear from day one. This is not an election. It's not an election. Well, nothing legitimate can be battered by that fraud.
Well, Festus Keyamo, spokesperson for the APC Presidential Campaign Council, says the Labour Party and the PDP are looking for court injunctions to stop the elections.